So, my name is Muhammad Razan Naim, and my friend Muhammad Fikran Shah will be telling you guys about nervous system. What do you think about nervous system? Basically, human is finely tuned machine where we can command our body to do what we want. For an example, when you want to go to get up out of your chair and go to the fridge, the body obeys. How does it work? Let's discuss it. So, what is nervous system? Nervous system is basically divided into two parts, which is neuron, and beyond neuron there are also a suppurative cell called neuroglia or glial cell. The glial cell is a cell wrapped around delicate parts of neurons. And what is the function of nervous tissue? As we know, the nervous tissue has received sensory information, then it transmits the information to the integration center, such as brain to brain, and lastly, it basically also conduct the information to conduct the signal of information from the integration center to the effector in electrical ways. You have to know that in our body there are many neurons, not only one. And here is what I said earlier about the three major parts of neurons. So basically you can read it. Neuron is consists of three major parts, which is cell body, dendrites, and the axon. Here we can see that this is a cell body, and in the middle of the cell body there is a nucleus, and this is the dendrites. Projecting from the cell body there are so many dendrites which produce a tremendous surface area for receiving information or signal. And last but not least, it is axon, which conducting region of the neurons to basically transmit the electrical signal for communication with other neurons. So now I will tell you guys about neuroglia or glial cell. As I said earlier, it provides structural and nutritional support for neuron. It also has important role in synapse formation and help neurons process information. So here we can see that astrocyte maintaining neuron health and function. Microglia act as a phagocytic cell to remove the bacteria, and oligodendrocyte have the same function as Schwann cell has. Basically, the difference is oligodendrocyte form myelin sheath in CNS, or we call it as central nervous system, which is cover our brain and our spinal cord. And the Schwann cells form myelin sheath in the PNS, peripheral central nervous system. So it covers the other parts in our body except for our brains and spinal cord. And here is knot of Ranvier that's allow ion to diffuse in and out and allow cell tertiary conduction happen. My friends will be telling you guys more about it in the other video. So lastly is ependymal cell, which produce cerebrospinal fluid in the brain. And there are three neurons, which is sensory neurons, or we call it as efferent, motor neuron, or we call it as efferent, and lastly is the interneurons. from the three neurons, I will tell you that firstly, motor neurons or efferent is basically transmit a signal from CNS to muscles of glands, and second is sensory neurons or efferent. It is basically transmit the signal from sensory receptor to CNS. And I forget to tell you that motor or efferent is basically a multipolar shape, while sensory neurons is unipolar shape. And lastly is interneuron that sit between two neurons to enable communication from the efferent or efferent to CNS. That's all about from my part.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fikran Shah bin Sharizat, AS10943, my metric number. So today I want to explain to you what is resting potential. Okay, all of this potential and membrane potential is happen inside our nerve. So our nerve saraf. Okay, macam kita tahu, all of this is membrane potential. Membrane potential, as Razin said, that membrane potential ni perbezaan electrical potential antara dalam akson dan juga luar akson. So, and as a fact, bila resting potential is when there are no impulse yang lalu dekat akson tu. So, bila tak ada impulse yang lalu dekat akson tu, so dia macam dia trigger to manage benda lah. So that's why when axon is not connecting any impulse, the membrane potential yang kita cakap electrical potential luar dan dalam tu is about negative 70 millivolts. You know why the value is become negative? It is because the difference of concentration Na plus inside, outside and inside of the axon. Okay, sebabnya dalam axon tu ion natrium dikatakan hampir tak ada. But ion kalium, potassium ion memang banyak dalam axon tu. So the differences antara charge positif dengan kat dalam dengan kat luar axon tu menyebabkan dia negatif 70 millivolts. Okay, senang cerita, dekat dalam masa resting potential, when ada resting potential, the ion potassium is much more in the axon, and while the sodium ion is much more at the outside of the axon. So the differences of the concentration of these two ion make the resting potential become negative value. And sebagai info tambahan, when the resting potential as a okay, wall axon ni, kalau kita tahu sifat dia lebih telak pada ion kalium, ion potassium. So disebabkan dia lebih telak masa resting potential ni, so ion kalium terus masuk ke dalam axon, tak henti, masuk. That's why bila tak ada nerve, the kalium memang makin tambah dalam axon, and natrium stay kat luar. Natrium tak boleh masuk. But this process become different if the impulse datang, if the nerve is conducting an impulse. Okay, we continue with the action potential later. So I want to show you the chart. As we can see at the chart, okay, first of all, I bracket the rest potential with that black thing. Okay, it means that when we don't receive any stimulus, kita tak terima apa-apa, our receptors do not receive any rangsangan. So that's why the rest potential become negative, because there are no impulse that go through inside the axon. Okay, but as we can see, step number 2, when stimulus is applied, that means that kita punya reseptor terima rangsangan, kita terpegang teko panas, kuali panas, and then that mean that stimulus apply, and as we can see, the membrane potential is start to going up. Okay, that thing I will explain it at the action potential. When there are impulse that go through the axon. Okay, action potential. I will read the definition first. Rapid changes in polarity at the axon membrane as the nerve impulse occur. So, bila saya cakap tadi, bila kita punya receptor terima rangsangan, so there's gonna be impulse that will be going through at the axon. So that thing will totally change, totally different with the resting potential, because dekat resting potential, the axon will not conduct any impulse. So action potential is something that kena mengena dengan when we receive impulse. Okay, bila impulse lalu, tadi kita cakap pasal wall. Dekat wall tu actually there are potassium ion gate and also natrium sodium ion gate. Okay, and then when the impulse pass through, all of the channels is going to open. So there are a lot of movement. The ion can constantly cross around the membrane. So tadi ion kalium banyak dalam axon kan. So bila impulse lalu, kalium tu boleh keluar. And then bila impulse lalu, ion natrium yang banyak kat luar axon ni, dia boleh masuk. So this phase action potential ni kita bahagi kepada dua proses, iaitu depolarization and repolarization. It's about the pergerakan ion kalium keluar masuknya natrium. So when natrium banyak masuk dalam axon, apa berlaku? Bila kalium keluar axon, apa berlaku? Okay, that is we talk in depolarization and repolarization. So nak cakap mudah, action potential ni ada dua. Dia terbagi pada depolarization dengan repolarization. And then bila impulse masuk, the ion gate dekat wall membrane, dekat axon membrane tu is going to be open. So the ion can constantly cross to masuk and keluar. And then depolarization. Okay, depolarization ni maksud dia kemasukan tiba-tiba ion sodium ni, kan ion sodium ni kan dari luar kan. Sodium ni natrium lah. Ion natrium ni kan dari luar, banyak dari luar, tiba masuk. Disebabkan apa? Disebabkan ada impulse tadi lah. Bila impulse lalu, zap, dia buka semua channel ion ni kat dalam badan kita, channel sodium dalam badan kita. And then channel ion sodium ni semua masuk banyak-banyak. So bila sodium tu banyak, dia punya, tadi kita cakap kan, kenapa nilai resting potential negatif? Sebab perbezaan ion sodium kat dalam dengan dua axon beza. Tapi bila ion sodium tu dah dapat masuk dalam, so dia punya nilai dia akan jadi positif. Dia akan start jadi positif. So the membrane potential change from negative 70 mV to positive 35 mV. Tengok dia jadi positif sebabkan ada kemasukan ion sodium dalam axon. And then, okay, kita tengok pada chart dia. Okay, as we can see at the chart. Okay, when the repolarization is in the bracket, okay, the black bracket. Okay, when I forgot mention about the threshold. Okay, dia macam, okay, sistem ni berlaku, dia macam all or non-event. So kalau dia berlaku, maksudnya kalau benda tu berlaku, dia terus buka channel tu. Tapi kalau dia tak sampai threshold, dia tak akan jadi dia punya proses ni. So itulah saya cuba lupa cakap tadi. Threshold ni dia macam limit tau. Limit yang kena lepas. Macam kita belajar dalam kimia, kita ada activation energy. So bila dia tak sampai threshold ni activation energy, so sistem depolarization dengan repolarization tadi semua tak akan berlaku. So dia all or none event. Okay, as we can see, balik pada kita punya depolarization, Na plus ions go in, masuk ke dalam axon. That's why dia punya keseimbangan ion natrium dengan dalam dengan luar dia jadi sama. So bila sama, nilai dia akan jadi positif. Okay, as we can see, the field initiation. So when bila dia punya, maksudnya impulse tak cukup, orang kata tak cukup voltage dia, so proses dia tak akan berlaku. So dia tak akan pergi pun depolarization dengan repolarization. So threshold is a limit for this process. Chemist, if you understand well, chemist act like activation energy. Okay, after depolarization, maksudnya axon ni dia punya lalu, dia punya lintas dekat axon tu sekejap je. So bila dia dah macam dah lalu, dia akan turun balik. Dia akan tinggallah kawasan axon dia lalu tu. So that's we call repolarization, where leaving of potassium. Maksudnya tadi kan kita cakap potassium dekat resting potential, potassium kan ada banyak dalam axon. So repolarization, potassium keluar balik elektron, keluar balik daripada axon. So dia terbalik pula. So yang banyak natrium ada banyak dekat dalam axon, potassium ni ada banyak kat luar axon. So dia terbalik-balik. Sebab tu dia punya voltage, as you can see, the membrane potential change from 35 mV to negative balik. Maksudnya dia dah tak seimbang balik. Maksudnya natrium dah banyak pula kat dalam, and then potassium pula banyak kat luar. Dia jadi macam first tadi. Dia jadi macam dia nak balik pada resting potential. Itu repolarization. Okay, kita tengok dekat chart repolarization. Step number 3. Okay, when first tadi Na masuk, and then bila dia punya impas tu nak keluar dah, dia punya channel bagi K tu terbuka pula. So K pula akan keluar daripada membran axon ni. So that's why dia akan pergi ke, kita tengok, dia akan pergi ke negatif 70 balik, 70 mV. It's return to the what we call the resting potential state. Okay. And then we talk about propagation of action potential. Okay, tadi kita Razin ada beritahu pasal apa function myelinate myelin sheath kan. So ni as a fact, bila tempat yang kita tengok kan, tempat yang tidak ada salutan myelin tu, bahasa Melayu salutan myelin, so dia punya kelajuan tu dia tak berapa laju sangat. Ibarat naik motor. Okay, naik motor, dia tak apa laju sangat. Sebab action potential travel at speed 1 meter per second in non-myelinate axon. And as we can see, in myelinate axon, tempatnya ada salutan myelin tu, dia punya potential axon dia concentrate dekat salutan myelin. Sebab nak tahu, function salutan myelin tu adalah nak bagi proses saltatory conduction. Iaitu saltatory conduction ni, di mana dia punya impuls tu pop, melompat macam Mario melompat. That's why contohnya ni not ni salutan myelin yang ada not dekat knot of Ranvier tu. Lepas tu impuls datang, tak, dia melompat sini. So dia dah skip yang tak ada salutan myelin tu. That's why dia punya kelajuan saltatory conduction at speed 200 meter per second. So myelinate axon ni macam naik kereta lah, naik kereta Ferrari, dia laju sikit daripada non-myelinate axon. And then refractory ni kalau kita tengok dia macam hyperpolarization. Okay, di mana dia nak pergi ke resting potential. So tadi kan masa orang kata repolarization kan dia turun kan, so dia akan turun bawah sikit supaya tak pastikan macam betul-betul tak ada impuls benda, lepas tu dia akan naik balik. And then dia terus ke resting potential. So yang kita tengok lekuk bawah tu, itu refractory period. Dia nak kembali kepada resting potential. And masa refractory period ni, dia punya Na plus gate close and enable to open. So masa ni kita tahu pump sodium dengan potasium tu berfungsi. Lupa nak beritahu masa awal tadi. So masa resting potential, there are one pump, sodium potassium pump tu. So dia akan pump 3 kali masuk, 2 natrium keluar automatik setiap masa lah, sampai yang ada impuls, and then berlaku lah action potential bagai. So dia macam pasif sikit lah, dia pengaku tak aktif, tapi dia berlaku selagi tak dapat receive any impulse. Tadi kita cakap pasal membrane potential. And then I want to tell you about the transmission across the synapse. As we know, synapse ni dekat hujung, hujung akson tau. Dia ada dekat hujung akson dengan awal-awal dendrit. Dia macam hujung, dia macam garisan start dan juga garisan penamat. Ke tempat dia sama kan. Kalau 400 meter sama. So kalau basically dekat dendrit tu, kat hujung dendrit tu, dia sebagai receiver. We call it as post-synaptic membrane. And dekat hujung akson tu, we call that terminal akson tu, we call that presynaptic membrane. Maksudnya tempat permulaan. Dia nak pergi ke neuron yang lain. Dia macam, okay, ini akson, terminal akson, ini hujung dendrit. So nak pergi lompat sini ke sini. Itu. So ini presynaptic membrane, and ini postsynaptic membrane. So untuk dia melompat, dia bukan melompat berpindah. Kalau melompat tadi satu tali conduction. Okay. So dekat area ni, dekat area sebelum dia lompat ujung-ujung ni, so dia melompat bukan melompat keluar macam tu je. Dia ada neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitter ni macam melekat dekat dendrit tu, and then barulah impulse tu boleh pindah ke belah sana. Okay, that's for now for the introduction of transmission across synapse. And now we move on to the how it really works, how synapse really works. Okay, as we can see, number one, action potential reach presynaptic terminal. So like this, the impulse come from here, and then he want to go to the postsynaptic where the other neuron is kat dendrit. Dendrit di sini. Okay, and we see when the action potential ni impulse senang kata. And then depolarization of presynaptic terminal open ion channel along ion calcium C2+ into cell. So apabila impulse sampai ke sini, sampai ke ruangan synapse ni, so dekat ruangan tu ada ion calcium yang daripada luar. So dia macam triggered berlaku depolarization yang menyebabkan ion calcium tu masuk ke dalam synapse tu, ke hujung-hujung kat dalam synapse tu lah. Okay, apa function ion calcium ni? We can see number 3, calcium ion triggers release of neurotransmitter from vesicle. So tadi saya cakap neurotransmitter diperlukan untuk impulse ni bergerak ke belah sini. So ion calcium ni function dia sebab neurotransmitter ni duduk dalam vesicle. Okay, dia duduk dalam vesicle. So dalam vesicle ni ada neurotransmitter. Dalam ni ada neurotransmitter banyak-banyak neurotransmitter, sorry. So neurotransmitter ni dia ada macam jenis lah. Sekejap lagi saya akan beritahu. And then when the calcium came, the vesicle will release the neurotransmitter. Like as we can see, number 4, neurotransmitter binds to receptor site postsynaptic membrane. So after the calcium make the vesicle release the neurotransmitter, so the neurotransmitter can bind with the postsynaptic membrane. So dekat hujung postsynaptic membrane ni dia ada receptor sites. So dia boleh bind supaya nak kata macam jambatan. Okay, neurotransmitter ni act as like jambatan. So dia bind dekat situ, so nanti impulse boleh lalu. And then number 5, opening and closing of channel cause change in inilah. So bila dia bind tu, okay, I want to continue terus kepada neurotransmitter. Tadi saya cakap neuro salah sebut je. Neurotransmitter, neuro ni kat otak neuron transmitter ni penghantar, penghantar neuron. Okay, so tadi saya cakap neurotransmitter ni banyak. More than 100 substances are known. Maksudnya dah lebih daripada 100 neurotransmitter ni yang diketahui. Juga ada yang tak diketahui lagi, yang maksudnya ragu-ragu, 50-50. Okay, so I will tell some of the example of the neurotransmitter. First, norepinephrine. Nama macam nanas. So norepinephrine ni dia important for dreaming and liking and mood. So sebenarnya kalau nak tahu, bukan mostly lah, some of neurotransmitter is the one that conducting our hormone. As we can see, number 2, dopamine for emotion, learning and attention. Third, serotonin also melibatkan kita punya hormon for thermoregulation, sleeping, emotion and perception. Endorphin produce fear of tranquility of stress. So many people wondering, even first I ever wonder why is it the dopamine is neurotransmitter or hormone. Sebenarnya dopamine ni dia adalah neurotransmitter, but kan tadi kita cakap neurotransmitter keluar pada vesicle and bind pada terminal, pada receptor, pada post synaptic membrane, and then masa dia bind tu, it's make our body to regulate, to secrete the dopamine. So dopamine is neurotransmitter, also hormone. And then same with serotonin and endorphin. Both of them is neurotransmitter and also hormone. And then both of them is neurotransmitter and also hormone. And then I want to tell you about some synapse that can happen, that some synapse that yang tak apa berjaya sangat bagi dia berlaku macam ralat. Okay. The postsynaptic membrane contain enzyme that rapidly inactive neurotransmitters such as acetylcholinesterase. So acetylcholinesterase ni actually one of the neurotransmitter and in CNS kalau tak silap. And then bila dia nak keluar daripada vesicle ni, so disebabkan ada acetylcholinesterase ni, dia menyebabkan acetylcholine tu dia tak boleh nak keluar. Neurotransmitter acetylcholine tu tak boleh nak keluar disebabkan ada acetylcholinesterase ni. Dalam certain case lah, in some synapse lah, maksudnya bukan benda yang normal lah, benda yang tak normal. Okay, then in other case, ada juga case neurotransmitter, the neurotransmitter was rapidly deabsorbed. Maksudnya dia baru je presynaptic membrane neurotransmitter ni nak keluar je daripada orang kata presynaptic membrane, tapi dia masuk balik ke dalam presynaptic tu, tak sempat nak bind pun lagi. Okay, itu is some cases lah. Okay, and as we know, the disadvantage of drug, why many people don't allow us to use drug, the illegal drug lah, but misuse of drug. Okay, because actually drug can harm our brain. That's what we call what we say in general lah. As we can see, use of drug can interfere the neurotransmitter. So all of the drug can affect the neurotransmitter to block or enhance, so it become sometimes overproduced, or sometimes in some cases will make the neurotransmitter to be reabsorbed back and inactive. So the drug is very bad and don't ever to use it. As example, Prozac can affect our emotion by disturbing the serotonin and norepinephrine. That, as said before, serotonin is controlling our emotion, but when we use drug, Prozac as example, it will affect how the serotonin will work as a neurotransmitter. So it will make us maybe overconfident, or make us feel really happy as we cannot control it. But it's very bad for our neuron. Last but not least, the synaptic integration. A neuron on the receiving end of many excitatory and inhibitory signal. Okay, dekat neuron ni, dia ada excitatory signal dengan inhibitory signal. So excitatory signal ni dia menghasilkan potential change, maksudnya impulse yang akan menyebabkan action potential tu berlaku. Tapi kalau inhibitory signal ni dia mempreventkan potential action change daripada berlaku. Okay, action potential dia berlaku. And then all of the signal ni sebenarnya duduk dekat satu part yang dipanggil axon hillock. Okay, and then why this thing is called synaptic integration? Because this is actually, benda ni adalah gabungan antara fungsi dua signal ni. Maksudnya apabila dua-dua signal ni bekerja pada masa yang sama. So bukan masa yang sama lah, maksudnya dorang dua-dua ada dekat area axon hillock tu. Tapi bila excitatory signal ni banyak, dia akan menyebabkan itulah action potential berlaku. Tapi bila inhibitory ni banyak, dia punya axon tu kemungkinan tak akan nerve tu, maksudnya dia tak lalu pun. Okay, that's all from us. I hope you can understand this, and thank you.